So welcome to Techno Dad Life, and my name is Jeff. And so today we'll be looking at the Annke NCA500, which is supposed to record. It's a surveillance camera that's supposed to record in color up to 5/10,000ths of a lux. Then we'll also look at some of the pluses and the minuses of the camera, and there are a few. So first let's take a look at the camera. So very solid camera with just a little light on the front, not too much. Otherwise, no other discriminating factors. And it does have foam here, which I haven't seen. So what is unusual about this camera is it has a BNC connector and you have to power it. So what this means is if you have a PoE Ethernet powered setup, you cannot use this camera. So this camera is going to be more for professional buildings unless you start out with BNC connectors. So it's not a normal BNC cable, so it has both the video and then it actually has power. So you're going to need a separate power supply for this. And they have all sorts of splitter power supplies on Amazon that you can use this with. Now if we look at the Annke page, we can see there it says there's that 5/10,000th of a lux. And I did a few video recordings, compared it to just a cheap Hemvision camera, and we'll look at those later. Now if we look at the web page here, we can see it increases 180% the sensitive areas. It has that warm supplement light, an f-stop of 1, and it has active alignment tech. It all sounds very impressive. Another drawback besides the cable is that you need an NVR to use this. And so this is the Annke Vision NVR, and I have it plugged in right now. And so basically the BNC cable goes into the back. The cord, the other end of this cord goes into a power supply, which I have there in the wall. And then these just plug in, and this one just screws on. So ultimately, what's going to make this camera now is the NVR, because we can't use our own software or a server for it. So in order to talk about this camera, we actually have to talk about the NVR too, which is not my favorite thing to do. Now, for some reason, the NVR won't play through my splitter, so I can't actually record the screen without just pointing the camera at it. So sorry for the bad image here, but this is what we have to work with. I just have one Annke camera set up, and so here you can see on the opening screen after you log in, it just shows the one camera. Now, this NVR does have a capability to do IP cameras. But for some reason it won't show it on the same page as the Annke cameras. So you have to right click and then go down to here. And then there you can see there's my Hemvision camera. So just to put it out there, I found this to be a very good camera. But as we go over the software, if you're used to having your own server software, then this software is very frustrating. So if we double click on the picture, then it goes full screen. And I don't know if you're able to tell or not, the image quality is pretty good. This is just a 4 megapixel camera. Let's compare that to the Hemvision camera. And so you might not be able to tell this, but this picture is wider. You can see by the black lines on the top and bottom, and it's actually a slight bit blurrier. So now if we want to actually look at the recordings, we'll have to go to another section. So we're going to press on the playback button. Then you have to pick your camera over there. And so that brings up your video recording, and so I left these two cameras on all night long. They just recorded continuously because I wanted to see a difference in their picture quality. Okay, so what we're going to compare here is about 3:30 a.m. So this is 3:26, it looks like. Now if we switch to the HemVision camera and then also go to 3:30, and you can see here someone was plowing the parking lot at 3:07 a.m. Now here we are at 3:31 a.m., so almost just 2 minutes off. And to me, it looks like the picture quality is about the same. So I live in a city where there's lots of light all the time. And so what I tried to do is I'm in my office, go in my office, shut all the doors, block out all the lights. And then as soon as I moved actually the Anke camera, the light on it turned on, and pretty much everything was in color, even though I was about 30 feet away. So for really dark places, the light does come on, and that's how you get your color. Now if we go to the top here, we can search for clips. So here you can see we can search by camera, day of the week, video or picture, search by event type or file status, and then the type of event. So for this, you actually have to set these in the settings page, and we'll take a look at that next. Now on this page, it has all the general settings, and if you look down below here, it has easy mode. And so normally this is what it will look like in, and you can see I was on expert mode. But it has some pretty general settings. You can change the resolution, enable wizard, password, blah, 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 change users, add users. So I imagine most of you are going to go use expert mode because you can fine-tune your events that you actually get recorded. So let's click on expert mode. And again, we have the sort of same categories, though we have more information. Now here, you would think in this interface I could add this IP camera here, but when you click on it, nothing happens. If we go to the next page, then there you can see that's where the IP camera is. Here, I could move it here, but basically you can't really move anything after that. So I don't really understand what this page does because it's not really doing anything. Again, users, network, we have a little more settings here we can do. We can do our DDNS, NAT, and then set host IP and ports and server ports. Again, we have our analog and IP cameras. They're on a separate page now. There's the display again. Our privacy mask. Now, so this took me a second to understand. So if we go back to camera, so privacy mask, when you record, this area will actually be blocked out if you actually click apply down here. Whereas the event, this is actually the alarm. So basically where the red dots are, that will trigger the alarm to actually record things. And then you can set smart events, and then there's the recordings, and then you have much more fine-tuned control over your recording and your storage. Okay, so there's basically 3 ways to play things back. So the first is you go up to the alarms in the corner, scroll down to whatever time it was, and you can play that event. And there's a man walking from his truck. So the second way to play back a video is on the main page, scroll over whatever stream you want to look at, and then underneath, or on top in this case, will come a little taskbar, and you click the play button, and then it plays the video from starting 5 minutes beforehand. Then the third way to play back video is click on the playback button, click on your camera, scroll to the time that you want, and then you can jump forward 30 or backwards 30, reverse. Now to actually export a clip, you click on clip, and then you move the brackets to the time that you want. And look, there is a garbage truck at 6:23 a.m. And then once you do that, you go down here to export. Now before you export, you actually have to plug in a USB drive into the back of the Annke NVR. Then once you've done that, you go down to the export clip. And here you can see the USB flash drive showed up, and it's got some stuff on there, but we're just going to format that. That just takes a second, and then we're going to make a new folder. Click OK. And so now we have our 123 folder, and so we're going to store our video file into that folder. So double click on that and then click OK. So now you can see it gives two choices. So the first one is actually the video clip that we want to look at. The second one is actually a video player program, and it will download that onto your USB drive so you can install it on your computer so you can actually watch the clips. So we want to just use, we just want the video, so we're going to click OK. And there's a check mark in the middle, so that means it's done. And then we're going to get a clip from our IP camera also. And we're going to try to get around the same time, and then we'll compare these two. And so we're going to create a new folder for the different files so we know which camera is which. Then hit OK. And so now we're going to put that in our new folder. So let's switch to our computer and actually look at those files. Okay, so now we've opened up that USB drive on my computer. There's our 123 folder and our 54321 folder. And then you can see actually I put the player on there, and I will show you why here. So let's open up the Annke file. You can see the file is truncated for some reason. It's playing, but not very well. So let's go back and open up the HemVision one. And there you can see the HemVision one plays fine. So what's going on here? So if we go back, you can see I added the player that they recommend. And so if we open up that player, start it up, and then open up our 123 file, click on that. And now you can see the file plays fine. And we can scroll through, and it is no problem. And here, actually, for the first time, we can actually see this picture actually looks better. So in order to get that, we have to export the video and then actually use their player, and then we can see the whole video, and we can see how good it looks and actually how good it is in the light. So let's go back to this video, and now here side by side you can see the one on the right, the Annke one, looks actually much better there. So going back to the beginning of this video, the NCA500 is a good video camera. It's just hindered by the NVR that is used to record its software. And so I would recommend a better choice is the NC400, which does not go down as far as 1/1000th of a lux, but it is a PoE camera, which means you can use it with any surveillance software that you have. You can set it up on your server, so maybe the camera is marginally worse, but I think it's a better idea overall. So that's it for today. Hope you found this helpful. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And a special thank you to all my supporters who, without your support, this channel would not be possible. And if you haven't already, please think about supporting the channel you love. Thank you.